Hello fellow humans and welcome to the Madhouse. I'm Josh and today is Wednesday the 9th of September, so that means it's time for Top 5 Wednesday, which was of course created by Lainey, and I put all of the links to both her channel and the Goodreads group down below. Today's topic then is your favourite retellings of fairy tales, myths, classic stories, anything like that, which, well, I love. You can probably guess one or two of the books that will be in here. Where to begin? Well, I'm not just going to include books actually, because some of these things just have to be mentioned. So at number 5 there is Maleficent, that Disney film they released not so long ago. And there is a book of it anyway, although I haven't read that. But I absolutely loved this film. Many people didn't like it, and I believe it was, well, not quite a box office flop, but not as successful as it could have been. But I thought Angelina Jolie was fantastic, and, well, Maleficent was such a wonderful take on the old story, because if you think about it, Maleficent is, in the film, the original Sleeping Beauty film, depicted as being very evil, fair enough, but an otherwise completely sane individual. She didn't do anything ridiculous, she's quite eloquent, she has a firm grasp on reality, so we know she's not just a maniac, although I hate to use that term. She just wants to curse the baby, and the thoughts are that perhaps in that she's at war with Stefan, or there has to be a good reason for it. And I think this Maleficent film provides that, because nobody curses a baby without a good reason. And that being that you've been betrayed by the parent of the baby. Okay, cursing the baby is not particularly nice, surely you just curse the parent. But she is distraught, she's not going to think particularly rationally. I know I wouldn't. It's a fun film, and I really loved the magical world that they create. It's so very pretty, even while Maleficent's in her dark stage. It's lovely. At number 4 there is the Corydon series, beginning with Corydon and the Island of Monsters. I can't remember what the specific titles of the other two books are. It is the kids series that I read at the beginning of high school, and I thought they were very, very fun. It's a retelling of, well, many classic Greek myths, specifically of the monsters and the heroes, from the perspectives of the monsters, who all live on this island of monsters. Well, not all of them, but the majority. And its main character is Corydon, who is the mormoliskos, which means, I can't remember what it was, little monster perhaps? Because he is born to human parents, but he has one goat leg, because he is, well, I can't give spoilers. Well, in fact, scrap the whole thing about human parents. But he is hated by all of the people where he lives, so he's driven out and he goes to live with the monsters. He's essentially adopted by a pregnant Medusa who was in love with Poseidon and then turned aside as soon as she was made ugly. It shows a look at the monsters as being, well, physically monstrous, good and kind-hearted, or just as flawed as any other person, while the physically perfect gods who rain down judgment from Olympus with no compassion or thought for anyone else's desires or feelings are the real monsters, especially in the third book, and what happens to Zeus. Oh my goodness, wonderful. My favourite character in it has to be Medusa. You know I have a big thing for powerful female characters, and she is female, powerful, and she loses absolutely none of her femininity with it. She's not written as a man in a dress, essentially. No, she's very, very female. She's pregnant. She gives birth to a child. And she is kind and gentle and hates using her, well, eyes. She does what has to be done to protect those she cares about. She's not evil. The heroes who come to kill her and bring Talos is evil. At number 3, I'm going to say another thing that's not a book, but Once Upon a Time. I don't know what channel or what network makes it, but it's various fairy tale retellings of, the most prominent ones are of Snow White, because Snow White is the mother of the main protagonist. But there's also Rumpelstiltskin, Cinderella, Red Riding Hood, well, practically all of them. The Little Mermaid turns up, that's fun. There's the Snow Queen. There is also Frozen, which was a bit confusing, but very much fun. Peter Pan, it's wonderful. And again, the whole thing, I really love villains, especially villains who start to cross over to the light side. So Regina is my favourite character. Regina is the evil queen from Snow White, and she is amazing. I mean, really, watch it and read up on her. She's fantastic. And my second favourite character has to be Rumpelstiltskin or Mr. Gold. I mean, I've always loved the Rumpelstiltskin stories, but this puts a wonderful twist on it. I mean, also Rumpel's fantastic in the way that he always says, "Hello dears!" And he's very grand and flamboyant. And very, very dark and nasty, but all the same, he's kind too. Evil, but kind. When he needs to be, when he wants to be. And, well, the twists in the last season I love. And speaking of, there was an episode that came out today I need to catch up on, so I'll be getting onto that very, very soon. At number 2 there is the Sum of Achilles by Madeline Miller. I have talked about this one many times. It is a, well, maybe not a retelling, because a retelling implies a changing of setting, but a reinterpretation of the Iliad by Homer. And specifically because it's reinterpreting, because it's the exact same story really, but it's looking at Achilles and Patroclus as lovers, which I love. And in any version of the old stories, Achilles and Patroclus are lovers, but in some versions they're brothers and cousins or best friends, and there's no romantic interest between them, or they are cousins and there is romantic interest, which is a bit weird. But in this, they are just, it's a very, very sweet love story, and it's incredibly faithful to the Iliad. I was fortunate that I had read it quite soon before I picked this book up actually, so I knew everything that was coming up, and it's practically all covered. There are a few parts missing, of course, but you can't have everything. It's wonderful and sweet, and well, you can certainly tell who are the divine characters in this, because much like the Corydon series, they're not portrayed in a good light. And then finally, how could I do this without mentioning a single Terry Pratchett book? Weird Sisters. Now, I could mention practically any of the earlier Pratchett books, or some of the later ones too, but Weird Sisters is probably my favourite retelling. It's Macbeth, but where the witches are the good guys. Well, I don't know about good. Well, they're certainly good, but they're not nice. It's very, very funny, tremendously clever, and it's not just a Macbeth, but it also has a reference to practically every early modern play I can find. I mean, I'm studying a model in early modern drama at the moment, so I'm noticing so many references, little throwaways to the Duchess of Malfi, or what's the other one I've forgotten the name of? I don't know, there's a lot of Shakespeare in here anyway. And, it is a pure delight. It's practically a send-up of all Shakespeare, apart from A Midsummer Night's Dream, which is in Lords and Ladies. But really, if you want good retellings of something that will make you laugh and make you think, pick up Disco, specifically the witch books, and not just these witches, but the Tiffany Aching books as well. The others have it too, but those especially, and they are all wonderful. I love it. And that's it for today. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Please click like, share and subscribe, and leave any comments on, well, any of the things I've mentioned today. Do you love these books, and have you seen the film and the television series? What do you think about them? Because debating, I like, do, please. Why am I talking like that? It's incredibly unnecessary and quite annoying. Or perhaps that should have been the other way around. Incredibly annoying and quite unnecessary. Never mind. You get the point. Until next time, anyway, have an okay day. I'm not going to go for too much optimism today, I'm sorry. Goodbye.